Hello, my name is Aoife Tunney. I'm the head of the Culture Office for Creative Europe Desk Ireland, along with my colleague Katie Lowry. And today I'm talking about Culture Leaves Europe, the call for residency hosts. And we're delighted to be talking about this call again and looking at how Irish organisations can apply to be the recipients of funding for residencies hosts. So what we're looking at is who it is for, the budget associated with it. We're going to look at a case study, Motion Chapel here in Ireland, which is a successful project for residency hosts for 2024. We'll talk to Elise from Motion Chapel in a moment. We're also going to look at how to apply and the timeline. So first of all, what does Culture Moves Europe look to support? So there are financial support for organisations and artists registered as legal entities working in the areas of music, literature, architecture, cultural heritage, design, fashion design, visual arts, and performing arts. And the purpose of the call, so there are 5 areas that they would like you to focus on, and they're asking you to select 2, so no more than 2, just really for practical terms to be able to deliver on 2 of these themes. So we're looking at explore, so around conducting research to investigate and work on a specific theme or a new concept. Create, to engage in a collective creative process seeking to produce a new piece of artistic or cultural work. And learning, to enhance the participants' competencies and skills through non-formal learning or collaboration with a specialist. Develop or connect, to develop a professional network to strengthen the participants' professional development, to engage with the new audiences. And transform, to contribute to societal change underneath the principles of the European Bauhaus. So as I said, you select 2 of those themes or areas to focus on for your proposal for this call. And who is it the Culture Moves Europe residency host call for? So it's a residency action that supports legal entities that are registered and based in one of the 40 Creative Europe countries. So there's a hyperlink there. You can click on that and have a look at the different Creative Europe countries that are eligible for this call. It supports them to welcome up to 5 international artists and cultural professionals for a residency project, which would last between 22 and 300 days. And the participants must be at least 18 years of age and legal residents in one or other of the Creative Europe countries. The grant contributes to the costs of inviting and hosting international artists and cultural professionals. So it's a contribution towards the cost, not the full amount of the costs. So looking at the budget then, the budget has an allowance of €35 per participant per day. And this is a contribution again towards expenses related to the implementation of that residency project. And that could be accommodation for participants, maybe mentorship fees, renting equipment, etc. Then there's a participant allowance, and that is €25 per day per person, contributing again towards food, local transport, and costs such as these. There's a travel a budget part of this award, and that is for distances over 5,000 kilometers. You will receive €350 per person for your round trip, and a travel distance from 5,000 kilometers. You will get a budget of €700 per person for a round trip. Again, under 600 kilometers for your travel, you can only travel by airplane in exceptional cases. So otherwise, they're allowing for a land and sea approach to this, so very much a sustainable approach. And the exceptional cases to be able to fly by airplane are for a person with disabilities, if you're traveling to or from an island without ferry connections, or due to force majeure, a grave personal circumstance. So these are things that you will be able to prove within your application to access allowance for airplane. The distance between the participant's place of residence and the host location is calculated automatically on the application online process. And there's a link there to click on for your calculator to look at the distances. So again, looking at the overall residency grant, it is compiled of two parts. So that's the hosting allowance, which is allocated to the host, and then daily allowances allocated for travel allowance and top-ups, which are allocated to each participant based on the individual travel plans and needs. So the grant calculations are made specifically for each beneficiary. So for each organization applying to this, and it will be based on the project that you apply for, the details of that project and the participant's personal situation. The entire residency grant is transferred then to the residency host, who is responsible for distributing this to the amounts to the participants. And the residency host can get several grants underneath the Culture Moves Europe Residency Action, with different projects and different participants associated with those projects. But however, applications are only limited to one application per period. So looking at top up, so this award is really interesting in that it is looking at, again, the sustainability approach. So a green top up for €350 per person who chooses not to travel by airplane for their round trip. And this only applies to people traveling for 600 kilometers above. There's also an overseas countries and territories and outermost regions top up, and that is €150 per person traveling from these regions. And when you go into the GOTHA website, you will see a list of the overseas countries and territories and outermost regions there. There's also a visa top-up, which is €80 per person for the expenses related. So if you need to apply and there are processes for a visa from where you are traveling from, then this is a top-up allocated to you. There's also a family top-up. So again, looking at supporting artists or cultural professionals with children, and that is €100 per person with children who have to be below the age of 10, and that is regardless of how many children. So it's a flat fee of €100. There's also a support for persons with disability for up to €75 per person per day. And these are disabilities that affect your ability to carry out the mobility project. So we're looking at our case study, as I mentioned, from Motion Chapel, a residency host, which was successful in the last round. And Motion Chapel is for Irish and international circus, a destination for training and research right in the heartlands of Ireland. So we will go to our interview that I interviewed with Elise from Motion Chapel now. We're going to talk a little bit about the Culture Moves Europe host program and the project that you've been funded for under the last round. So first of all, do you want to talk a little bit about the project itself?
Yes, I'd love to. Thanks so much for having me on this call. So we with Motion Chapel applied for this first round of the Culture Moves call for residency hosts through Creative Europe. And what we applied for was a month-long residency for 5 ACPs, is what they call them in the Culture Moves language, essentially 5 artists to come stay with us for the month of July in 2024. The way we did it is we actually asked for 2 groups. So we asked for groups to apply between 2 and 3 artists. And we called it crew-through, so create. And we wanted artists to come with kind of a project, with an idea that's not very far developed yet. So we could give them the opportunity in that month to develop a concept or an idea and explore around it and then create the beginnings of a show or something that could then be further developed into a full show. Now, we narrowed it down to emerging circus artists, emerging being just the stage of their career, so not age related, but we did kind of try and focus on people who have just finished Circus, for example. That was one of the people we had in mind, or kind of the group we had in mind for this project. And as part of that, they'll come for 1 month in July, and they will receive mentoring from Emmett Lewis for physical development and skill development and sustainable practice. And from me, just to help them kind of understand exactly what they want to do in the month of the residency and how to keep on track.
Great. And the residency is Motion Chapel is in Roscommon, am I right?
Yes, County Roscommon, we're in Runland. It's a small village close to Castlereagh.
Lovely. And so you're saying there that you're providing mentorship, and development of practice. Is there also kind of capacity building in there a bit, or is it more about the artist practice?
It's more about the artist practice, and we purposely left it quite open. And asked, so within the application process, we asked artists to give us a short overview how they would use the month to their benefit. And we're very much going to adapt to what the artist's goals are and what they want to do. If capacity building is needed, we will try and assist with that, but it'll be mainly for them to develop their ideas and their practice.
Okay. And you were saying there, so you applied and then afterwards you did an open call, is that right?
Correct. So yeah, we had to apply first, and then we got a first confirmation that we were successful, but that wasn't the full grant confirmation. So then what we had to do is we had to actually then do the open call. So you can either apply with doing an open call or doing an invitation based. We did the open call. So we had to do the open call, find our artists, and then we had to submit a residency info card where all the details of the artists were submitted, and then only after that we received full confirmation. Now, actually, just a few days ago.
Okay, great.
So now it is fully confirmed, and now we're working on the grant agreement.
Okay, brilliant. And did you do that? Did you want to do the open call? Do you find that open calls are more useful for being open as they sound? But yeah,
I think it kind of between the lines of the application, it kind of read that open calls were preferred was the one thing. And on the other hand, for us, we really wanted to do an open call because we thought it was quite interesting to kind of look outside of our own bubble. Like there would have been lots of people from the continent that we would have wanted to invite, but then we thought, what about all those people that we don't know about? So that was really interesting. And also for us as a very new arts organization, it's also just a great way to get the word out that we exist. So that was another reason why we chose to do the open call, to actually just get a bit of buzz going about what we're doing here.
Right. And you were saying you got great kind of legs up in promotion, so different kind of platforms promoted it.
Absolutely, yeah. We chose to disseminate the call, and that's one of the tips that I really would give to people. You know, very, very certain where you send your promotional materials, so you know that the people apply that you actually want or that are suitable. What we did is that we sent it to the list of the FedEx schools in Europe. So all the circus schools that we asked them, could you distribute this open call to your recent alumni or your recent graduates? Which many of them did, which was great, and we got very positive responses back. So it was like great to hear of this space and so on. So that was really nice. And what also happened was that when we shared it on our own social media, lots of circus bodies, organizations shared it online. So that was great. Like the Circus Festival shared it around, both Germany shared it around. There was a lot of, and just because it's, you know, it is an opportunity for artists. So quite happy to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you find the application process in general?
Very straightforward, actually. So from the very beginning, it's just an online form. It's a bit lengthy, but
once you kind of have the rough idea in place, it's very easy, I would say.
Brilliant. And in terms of, you were talking about, and I kind of think this is useful or helpful when you're making an application. Like, what are the bits that you're to kind of add in? So you're going to be potentially connecting artists when they're in the residency to the wider sector in
Yes.
in Ireland or past Roscommon as well.
Yeah, so there are 4 kind of categories that they want you to choose 2 from. So we chose to explore. So for artists to explore, so conduct research, investigate, and work on specific theme or new concept, and to create, which is to engage in a collective creative process, seeking to produce a new piece of artistic work. So those are the 2 we chose. But another one is to connect, for example, which is for artists to connect. So we're doing that as well. First of all, by inviting 2 different groups. So we have 3 jugglers coming from Lithuania, and then we have 2 hand balancers from the Netherlands. So putting them together for a month, I think, is already going to be quite interesting. Then we are planning on doing open training weekends where people from Ireland, Circus Arts can come and join an open training, meet the people, kind of just jam together a bit. And then hopefully we'll do a end of research showing as well.
Brilliant, great. And you were saying the dissemination is one tip. Is there any other kind of tip to give to potential applicants?
Absolutely. So like I said, we did the FedEx, just a newsletter, sent it out to them. But then what we also did, there's a network called onthemove.org. They are great. They have every residency going in every kind of cultural mobility opportunity. So we submitted to them as well, and they got it onto the website really fast, even sent it out in the newsletter, which was really nice. And then we did basically disseminated it in our own kind of circles. So, having friends that have gone to different circus schools and just asking them to share. And then another thing that we did is the ISAC network, of course. So we put it up on there.
Yeah, great. And they obviously love to be sharing. It's a
Yeah,
great opportunity.
Yeah,
And I think that's kind of it, really. So for people, I know it's artists will have gone through the process with open call, but for anyone else who might want to join that weekend, you mentioned as part of the project, can they get in touch, or what way?
Yes, absolutely. So we will be putting out just the opportunity. We'll be putting it again onto ISACs beginning of next year, and it's probably going to be the second weekend of July, where we'll just facilitate open training, which is really nice because that's something we've been wanting to do anyway, and this is a really nice opportunity to get lots of people to come visit and train in the chapel. And there will be the possibility of camping on site, or to park with a van, and it'll be just a bit of a weekend. And we'll be sharing it on our website and on our social media and through ISACs as well.
Okay, great. That's really great. Well, I'm delighted. I mean, you are Motion Chapel, but does your project have a title as well, or is that?
Yes, it's Cruthur.
Cruthur, how do you spell that?
It's CHRUTHU.
Okay.
Cruthur. Yeah.
Very good.
Irish,
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Great.
I should know that. Okay, look, thanks a million, Elise. That was so nice to talk to you. And we'll be posting anything that comes up for your own project. We'll let people know about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, take it easy. Goodbye.
Bye.
And that was great to hear from Elise in Motion Chapel, and we will be putting up the details of the residency and that training weekend and the other details as they come up. Just to finish off, we're looking at the criteria that is assessed under this call. So areas such as, does the host provide appropriate premises and services for participants around housing, equipment, working environment? Is the selection process of the participating artists and cultural professionals well justified? Does the host provide mentorship and a collaborative environment to the participants? Is the residency project relevant to the applicant's work and activities as well as to the Culture Moves Europe objectives? And does the residency project have long-term impact and benefits? we heard there from Elise, just that more kind of those tie-ins with network building and connecting further afield for artists being part of the project. Does the project take to sustainability and the environment into consideration? And these are obviously things that they're asking you, this is the criteria. So they're asking you to really consider all of these elements, all of these areas, and pull it into your process or your application, because these are really important areas, the criteria for you, what you'll be assessed on for your application. So how to apply? So you download the link here, so it's the second round of the Culture Moves Europe residency call, and there's the document there, which has all the necessary supporting information. This call is implemented and managed by the Goethe Institute, and the applications are processed through their own portal. So there's the hyperlink there of the Goethe application portal. So when you go into the portal, you will need to create an account. You'll be registering as a company or an enterprise. You'll select the Culture Moves Europe funding, call for residency hosts, and then filling out the form from there. You can save and edit as you go before you do your final submission. So looking at the timeline, then the call is now open. So if you go onto the Institute website, you will find the link, or look for more information through the Creative Europe Ireland website here. And the deadline is January the 16th, 2024. So that is coming soon enough. So I would kind of encourage you to start looking at the application process now. And as they say, you can save it and come back to it, but at least you've kind of started the process. For more information, get in touch with ourselves, Eve Tunney or Katie Larry at the Culture Office, at Creative Europe Desk. Our website is there. Our YouTube channel is available there with the link. So looking at any of our other events that we've hosted recently or over the past year anyway, around other funding programs or policy events, and keep in touch with us on our social media platforms as well. So that's it, and I'm really happy to talk to you today. If you have any questions, do get back to us, and good luck, everybody, with this application.